Today on Clegg's Adventures.
Oh, there it is. Let's try to find my bag. You gotta be here right at the right time. Now this water's going up and it is high. Maybe like ancient graves or something, I don't know. Right over there on top of that mountain. Totally misjudged that. I probably walked over that 1,000 times down here and didn't even know it. Let's pick it up. Oh my gosh, I got a bucket lister down here. You ain't gonna believe this. Check it out. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. Oh. Welcome back to Clegg's Adventures. Today, I'm gonna be taking you into the high hills of Ohio for another look at an ancient ruins, another mystery of the Ben's Run Earthworks. It's what is described as a stone runway or a platform of some sort, with all the stones gathered up in the area and stacked on end edgeways like this. There were two of these platforms. Now, one was in West Virginia, which I understand by reading that it was all taken out or destroyed. But the one in Ohio, high up on the hill, is still there, and we're gonna go check it out today. But first, we're gonna get down here on the riverbank and just see what has washed out here in the last month and a half in all these floods and rains. Let's get started. Stay with us. We got one over here. The water's coming up and it's eating these little tears out in the sand. You can see where it's been way up here. See this tear it's ate out of the sand? When it does that, it thins all this down right here. You can see these stones getting exposed right here, like fired stones. But I got one over here. We got here right at the right time. Here's a softball. I find a bunch of these things. I think there's a field by the river up about 20 miles north of here. So where are you at? Down here. Oh, here we are. Just washed out. The next guy would have found that for sure. Let's pick it up. That's not a bad point. Looks like a dart point. It's not the best material. It's kind of a gritty chert. But that's a pretty good point though. I'd say a middle archaic. If you don't know what it is, you just say middle archaic. Maybe 5,000 years old. Very nice. Oh yeah, look at this. You gotta look all these washouts right here. You see these washouts? Knocking this dirt down in hunks. Now there could still be stuff under that dirt. It's gonna take a few more floods to come up here and rinse it all down. Eventually it ends up down there on the beach. It's a little preform or a blade to a point. Now this was the start of a dart point, not an arrowhead. And how I know that is because this. You can see right here, he was having a hard time getting this thinned down right here. Or if that would have been later in time, maybe only 1,000 years ago, they would have never pitched this. They would have had indirect percussion napping at the time, and they would have used that to make an arrow tip. But this fella here, he couldn't get it worked down right there because it takes a fairly large piece of flint to start with to make a dart point. And when he couldn't get that little piece right there worked off, well, what'd he do? Well, he threw it away. He threw it away. You know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And if it's 5,000-year-old trash, it's a real treasure. Let's go on down here. Ugh. Here's a fishing lure. Man, I find a lot of these, especially after the floods. The hooks are usually gone, rusted. Look here, there's a little plate, little dish. It was an old house that used to sit here. I found several old bottles and plates and dishes, old stuff like 1890s, early 1900s. I would say that's an older dish. There's no markings on it. Oh, oh, check it out. What did I say? McCormick and Company, Baltimore. I think I have one of these bottles. Something similar. If you check the seams on these, you can tell if they're hand blown or not. If the seams go all the way to the top of the lip, probably machine made. If they terminate right about there, probably hand blown in a mold. I'm gonna say this is probably, if I had to guess, I'd say 1910, something like that. Not a bad one. Oh my gosh, I got a bucket lister down here. You ain't gonna believe this. I've never found one of these. It's right down here. You gotta be here right at the right time. Now this water's going up and it is high, but it's eating a lip right here. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at this. If this is whole, I've never found one of these. Only pieces of them. I've seen guys finding a lot of these in the south. Oh my gosh. Please be whole, right at the water level, eating this mud and dirt away. It was right under there. I probably walked over that 1,000 times down here and didn't even know it. Oh my God. Well, let's pull it out. Ah, come on, buddy. Please be whole. No chips, no chips, no chips. Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The stopper is still inside. Look at the color on this. It's Sistersville. It's Sistersville. A hometown Hutchinson pop bottle. Frank Keeney, Sistersville. That is old. Oh my gosh. Look at the bubbles in the glass. Let me go sit down. Oh, check this out. That is just flawless. You can even see the bubbles in the glass right there. Very nice blue color. Look at that blue color on that. Beautiful. Now this would have been the first pop bottles that were made. It's called a Hutchinson soda bottle. It's called that because the guy that invented this, last name was Hutchinson. And you can see it still has the stopper down inside the bottle. And how this would have worked, that little stopper in the bottle right there has a wire on it. Now half the wire is broken off, but it would have been a mirror image of the other side. And the stopper with the little rubber piece on it would have gone up. The wire would have stuck up and the stopper would have been on the inside. And the carbonation of the pop would have held the stopper in place. And when you wanted to drink it, you just shoved down on the wire, chugged it out of there. That is so amazing. And they say they made these so thick because they weren't sure of how much pressure that carbonated pop was going to build up. Very heavy bottle, nice. All hand blown and made. Nothing on the bottoms. Frank Keeney, Sistersville. My hometown. Amazing. Probably 1890s, 1900. Super cool. I think these were made in like 1879 to 1910 or something. That's a first for me, for sure. That's killer. That stopper in there. Let's wrap this baby up so we don't break it. Man, look at all these fishing lures I'm finding. Got like 5 fishing lures, a little plastic horse, and a little green ball. Might find a pole down here or something. Gotta have something interesting right up here. Check this out. I can see chipping on this green stone and I already know what it is. It doesn't look complete but I have found a few of these right here. It's clean the mud off of it. It is the beginning or a preform of what looks to be a little Celt tomahawk. You can see it was in the first stages of manufacture here. They've taken this green stone. They love this green stone for some reason. You don't find a lot of it, but they love this stuff. And you can see it was in the first stages here where they would have just chipped it and get it as close to the shape as they wanted it. And then they would have taken another stone and pecked on it to get it into even further shape. And then they would have taken another stone and grinded it against it to polish it up and final shape it. But that one was unfinished, and I can see why. It's got like little fault marks in it right there, and there's a couple right here. I would say when he was chipping it, it kind of flaked on him right there, it looked like, and he saw those fault marks. And then what'd he do? Well, you know now, threw it away, threw it away. That's very cool. I have some of these already. Always uncompleted. Yeah, I don't know what these guys were thinking, you know? Why didn't they finish a lot of this stuff? And I know why on that one, but some of the stuff you just don't know why they didn't finish it. It's going down here. Here's a marble. I don't know if it's old. It's like a milk glass base with a little green and red purplish swirl in there. I don't know what that is. Might be old. We'll keep it anyway. We got a bunch of marbles down here. I got one laying here. It's a work piece, I can see. Get it before the water washes it out. It's nothing grand, but it is a point. Looks like a pretty crude dart point. May have hit something on impact. Well, we'll take it. I got a little arrow tip up here. You see these stones and concrete chunks they throw over to hold the bank? A lot of people think, ah, you can't hunt that anymore. Nothing else will wash out. But if you look between the cracks, and there's a lot of cracks, eventually this stuff makes its way down through there. There's more glass right there. This is where that old home sat. Look at this. Did I not just say this a second ago? Look here. Jammed down in the mud. Ah, broke it. It's an old fishing rod. Look at that. Not salvageable. But look right here. Let's digging through this stuff. Right there it is. Can you see it? The tip's knocked off of it. Man, I might be able to put a new tip on that with epoxy, just for display purposes. It's a nice little point, had it not had that nick out of it. And look right there. Piece of ancient pottery. Normally how I find them, just about quarter 50-cent piece size. I have found a few larger ones, but down here on the river they don't survive. Find bigger chunks if you're digging. Now here's a few things that I picked up over the last couple weeks, just walking the beaches and surface hunting. Broken stuff that I don't really like to show it, but give you a gist on what I'm finding. Little broken blades, broken arrow tips. Those things break a lot, especially on the tips. And another tip here. Broken piece here. Another broken tip. And what maybe is a drill bit tip. And this big honker tip here. That would have been huge. That might have been a mammoth killer there. I don't know if they had mammoths around here or not. West Virginia, I don't think so. I think there were more up in the north. Canada and Alaska. They used to kill them though with those big clovises. Mammoths, they were big too. I think they were bigger than elephants. Like a snuffleupagus or something. Okay, we're gonna head over to Ohio now in the tall hills. But we don't want to drive all the way over there. It's supposed to rain. We got to get over there quick. We'll have to take the shortcut. And there's not much room, as you could see, to get any speed build up. So we're going to have to go up on top so we can get a little run at it. Okay, we made it up on top. This looks like enough room. We're going to have to take this gear off. You can't get no speed up with this stuff on. Fastest you can go is like an airborne shuffle. Okay, let's get it. I'll see you in Ohio. Totally misjudged that. Need more speed for sure. It sure looks like Ohio. Now I gotta try to find my bag. Didn't make it. I'll be around. Oh, there it is. Whew. Good thing the shirt made it. It's getting cold out here. Top of this hill. Some rough terrain now. Wow. I want you to check this out. Do you think these are like ancient graves or something? Because I've noticed this. There's a pile of stones here and all around here. There's a pile of stones here and there's a pile of stones here. They're just scattered throughout here. Maybe like ancient graves or something, I don't know. Oh my. Trust me when I say this is as steep as the roof on a house. Holy smoke, at least a 45-degree angle. These trees come in handy though. Now I will tell you before we get there, a lot of erosion has taken place on this runway or walkway, whatever you want to call it. 1927, when they checked this out, they said it was, as they measured it, 196 feet long and only around 14 feet wide at the widest point. Oh, thank God, a path. Whew. And that's why I think there was so much erosion. They built it right in the saddle on a ridge top, on a narrow spot. But that's kind of good because you can see now where it has eroded, just how large the stones were and how far they stuck down in the ground on end. Some of them were large. There was a lot of little stones used too. Oh, if you haven't checked out that article, I'll leave a link in the comments and in the description. Check it out, you'll get a better understanding of what's going on here. This was probably built in the year 0, right around the year 0, they're predicting. An Adena culture. Again, part of the earthworks at Ben's Run. I explained all that in the last video. Whew. We're getting close. Right up here, I think. Not much farther. Whew. I wonder why these natives had to build everything up on top of a hill. Dang. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. Oh. Dang thing. Nothing broken. Probably be walking like Chester the rest of the week though. Here's a tree rub from a deer. It's a little tree. They say a big buck will rub a little tree, but a little buck won't rub a big tree. So that could be a little one or a big one. If you look over here, last time when we visited that mound up on top of the hill, that mound is right over there on top of that mountain. The other walkway, which I'm understanding was destroyed by reading about it, was straight over this way somewhere. Now, you would think of all these stones in these walkways that there would be some stones left. But, you know, earlier farmers may have used the stones, may have pulled them up and used them for a cellar house or a foundation or something, or just get them out of the way of farmland, threw them over the hill. Okay, we're coming up to the north end of the runway platform, and you start to see stones. Now, it's not as defined as it was back then. If you look right here, this is where it would have started. You can see the stones already around these trees, really heavy, just laying all around here. And on the way up here, this way and that way, you don't find a stone laying around. They're all used in these platforms. This was probably, I would say, the edge of it here, seeing that it was not very wide and not too many stones have fallen over this side of the hill, but they are here, as you can see, around this tree. This tree has heaved them up. And like I say, it's hard to tell how many generations of trees had grown up through those stones and just spread them out. Here's some along this edge, but most of them have fallen over the other side right up here. And we'll get right to the middle of this runway. And you can see that they have put a four-wheeler trail right through the middle of the runway. So it does go right through the middle of the runway. And I'm sure this was a lot more flat. See, this four-wheeler trail has got it all worn down right there. Right up here, we're getting towards the other end of it. And you can see right here how it's not so wide. Maybe this ridge top wasn't really wide at the time, seeing that it was only 14 feet wide when they measured it. But look at this. You can see the stones that were stacked up on end here. Here's one of them still in the original position, along with several others that are right in the middle. And they're all stacked on end like this. And here's a good example, as I say, the erosion. And you can see up here how big some of these stones were. Look at this. This one here, I think, actually helped it from totally collapsing. Now, in 1927, when these guys came up here and they checked this out to document it, this was all intact. And I got to ask myself, how could it stay intact for 2,000 years? And then in the last 100 years, this much is gone and ruined. What has happened is, when they put the highway in down below, they took a lot of the hillside out, which left a lot of room for erosion and the tops of the hills to slide down. So I think that's what's mostly destroyed it. What a shame. The stones go all the way back. Looks like it starts right around in here. And they said it was like 196 feet long. And they're all scattered down through there. And this trail kind of turns like this. So I think on this side before the middle, they went on this side, and up there they fell onto the other side. But it starts about here, and 196 feet. Here's the biggest concentration of it right here. And it goes all the way down clear to here. Now these stones on the end aren't as large or predominant as these middle ones. I would say they started it in the middle and worked their way out. I'm just glad that this much of it is remaining, so you can see these stones left up on edge. Look at this one down here. You can even see how big they were. And this is stacked down in there. I'm sure it doesn't go much farther than this, but that's 3 feet wide of a stone. You can see down in here. We're only looking. We're only looking. Never hurts. How many men would it have taken to carry these big ones up on this hill? Now, they probably just had a bunch of kids going around collecting up these little ones. You know, keep them busy. Keep them out of your hair. Hey, why don't you quit messing with that and go over there and collect up some stones for this runway? Try and walk down the side here. See some of these other rocks that have eroded over the hill. Wow. They're just strewn all over this hillside, clear down to there. I figure this hill was out a little bit farther before it started going down and the erosion just dropped it. And this hill's pretty steep down to the highway, like I say. As soon as they pulled that bank out of there, cut that bank away, it just started sliding. There's a large one right there. And they said, at first when they saw this, that they thought it was just some strange upheaval of rocks in the mountainside, some outcropping. Till they started looking at it, found out, no, it's not. This is not natural. Now in that article, they said at the other stone platform that was way over there on top of another hill, they were told in 1927 when they were exploring these runways in Adena ruins, that earlier 2 men attempted to dig through the runway. They pulled like a few of the stones out of the center and started digging down into it. Now, take this with a grain of salt, you know. You don't know that tall tales can get added on. But they said they were digging down into the platform after they removed the stones, and once they got down several feet, it felt like the bottom was hollow and was gonna fall out from under them. Now, take that with a grain of salt, you know. You know how stories arise, and the next person that hears it adds a little more. It's like that story at the dam. The guys went down in their scuba gear. I'm sure you've heard it. Fixed the dam, came back up, threw their junk down, said, we ain't going down there no more. There's fish down in there swallow you. I've heard that one told all over the world. Drop a comment below if you think you know what this is. I mean, there's been thousands of guesses, I'm sure. But you never know, with more eyes looking at it, somebody might come up with something. Or maybe they have seen something similar around the United States, East Coast area. I don't know. Thanks for joining us on this one. We got a good video coming up this summer. It's gonna be a long one. We're gonna do a time travel. We're gonna try to get back into the year 0 or maybe before. If we can get back to paleo times, even better. But we'll have more videos before then. Thanks for joining us.